Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. And you know what? It's Joe Beya sitting here with my guy, Mr. James Redmond. It's not been pretty for you recently, but yesterday was okay. You know, you got through it. Liverpool beating Napoli 2-0. A goal from Salah. Even Nunez managed to get on the goal scoring lineup, man.
Good out Darwin, lad.
Good out Darwin. You're happy with that, yeah?
I like the passion from Darwin Nunez. I know that you can have your perception on someone as a footballer and the skill that they have on the ball, and can they do 5-star skill moves, can they shoot from range, can they do all that? And maybe Darwin can't do that job, but you know what he can do? He can get the fans going, and that's something that we've been lacking through a time of sorrow and through a time where no players coming over. Like, I understand, to be a good fan base, you've got to sing yourself to a degree, but you know, I also look at the footballing world kind of like an old school colony where loads of people go and watch, and it's for the Warriors to go ahead and really get the fans off their seats, otherwise they will be booed into the shackles. Like, that's the way I see the world should be. And I believe that these players have the obligation to get us off our seats, and whether you like Nunez as a footballer or you don't, he's getting goals, which as far as I'm concerned, Joel isn't a striker meant to get goals. Goals. And
I like people who are part of the build-up play as well, like Gabriel Jesus, but that's another matter.
But he's on more goals. That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't matter. You can have someone who scores more, but sometimes you go, nah, I don't know.
You're talking to the Bobby Firmino #1 fan. Bobby Firmino #1 fan over here. I understand the Gabriel Jesus, but
defensive striker.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But you know what? I think there's a more pressing issue. It almost feels like all season you've had these wins, but then afterwards you haven't quite used it as an opportunity to get your season started. James, is this it? Is this win yesterday gonna change Liverpool's fortunes? Because I'm hearing things like, you know, Klopp might not retire. He might decide to leave. Like, what is going on? Is it just nonsense? Is it just fans talking for the sake of it? What's your take on it?
Oh, the last bit's most certainly nonsense, if you want to use Jurgen Klopp's words itself, because he's came out and said that he doesn't want to leave. He's not feeling tired and that he's ready for the job, and he doesn't want to just be the manager who's loved and praised when we're doing well. He wants to be the manager who carries us out of the dark periods of the time at the club as well. So, shut out that one. In terms of the position at the club, I've said it. I don't think it means nothing going into the Sunday game against Tottenham. I don't think it means anything when it comes to momentum. I don't think it meant anything going into the game because Napoli were already going to finish top unless we won 4-0. So, from that perspective, Joel, I don't think it really does mean a hell of a lot, my friends. And I do need to see a longer case study of good performances to suggest that these players are going to be better between now and the end of the season. However, the one thing that I will say is the best players against Napoli was the players who haven't been playing every game this season. So we're talking the Shimakases, we're talking Kanate, Nunez, we're talking the youngsters, Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones, Fabio Carvalho, Bajcetic, who you won't know about, but he's another one of our youngsters, Calvin Ramsey, who came on for Trent. Really, really solid. And to do that against what has been, people will laugh, but arguably the best team in Europe so far this season.
I'm not laughing. You are 100% right. You are 100%.
Goals,
I've been saying it. Yeah.
Defense, like, honestly, really good, well-rounded team. So that's a statement. It's just I'm not going to be the same fan as I have been after Ajax and after Rangers 7-1 to say, well, if we beat those teams, we can build something now. Now I need them to show me they can build something.
You know what? You've got Thomas Tuchel that's been coming out of people's mouths. Now, obviously, you said Klopp's not going anywhere or whatever, but if Klopp was to have a bad season this season, right? Like, it's just carries on the way it has been done so. And then next season, you start off the same way you've started. Don't you think then the board would turn around and go, you know, we might have to think twice about him? I'm not trying to see managers get sacked, by the way. I'm just saying that I've seen football take weird turns. You know, Tuchel himself was a Champions League winner, then next season gets sacked, you know, or the season after gets sacked. So you just never know in football. Is it something that you think about?
The way I see it is right now, Jurgen Klopp's very okay. He's got the backing of the owners. He's got the backing of the fans. The one thing that worries me is, okay, so when the owners aren't investing, that's a problem because they're not investing, so the squad isn't getting better. Therefore, in the moment, you can say it's because of the investing, but when time goes by and you can't get rid of the owners because it's their football club, and you can't get rid of the players, Joel, because the players, you can't just let them go. It only falls down to one man, and it only goes onto one man's shoulder. So no matter how good or bad you think Jurgen Klopp is and how much he's maximising the current circumstances, if the club gets to a point where it's really, really bad and then everyone's getting at the owners aren't just going to say, well, we're not going to leave because we're the owners. This is our form of income right here. And we're not going to let the players go because they're our biggest assets. Jurgen, lad, who knows the score? And I definitely wouldn't consider Thomas Tuchel as my coach.
No? You're
No,
not a fan?
not particularly. Very different to Jurgen in many different ways. I just think the football isn't as expressive. I think it's effective, but for a certain amount of time. I certainly don't think he's one of the best managers in the world. I think if you want to get top four, Thomas Tuchel's your man. I think if you want to win the odd cup competition, Thomas Tuchel's your man. But he's not someone to be winning your league titles. He was never capable to compete with Pep and Jurgen Klopp. And the difference between Chelsea and Liverpool is Chelsea can afford to bring in any manager and back him with the same level of investment. Can anyone do what Jurgen Klopp has done with the budget that has been given, which is a lower budget than the rest of the top six? I don't know if they could.
He's known as being a master motivator, Jurgen Klopp, right? Yeah. And do you reckon he can turn it around this season? I mean, when I say turn it around, at least the top four, man. We know that the league's gone. We know that second place is probably gone, but third and fourth, you never know. You've got a difficult World Cup schedule coming up. 4 days after the World Cup final, the Premier League starts again. Who knows what's going to happen? For me, that's when the season really kicks off. I love accumulating the points right now, but I know that in January it's going down, bro. Do you reckon the World Cup it's great that it's come along because it gives you a break and it allows you to kind of reset, but do you reckon you can get yourself in that top four position?
I think a man... All right, then. Let me ask you this way. Can a man who's been in 3 league title races, can a man who's been in 3 Champions League finals, can a man who was the last person to win the Bundesliga that weren't with Bayern Munich, can that man get top 4? I absolutely believe in all my heart.
With Mane, he can. With Mane, he definitely can.
He won the Bundesliga without Mane, so I don't really know where your logic's coming from.
No, I'm talking about the Premier League, mate, right? I'm talking about the Premier League.
We are talking about the Premier League, but you're asking me, can a man who's done all of those things get top 4? I believe for sure he can get top 4. I think it's ludicrous to suggest otherwise. As a matter of fact, he got 3rd.
But you got to remember, in the Bundesliga, you've only got a couple teams. You beat Bayern and you're fine. But in the Premier League, you've got Arsenal who are on fire. That's
only this season. Don't act like the Premier League is more competitive than the Bundesliga. When the Premier League has been the Bundesliga and we've been the Dortmund and they've been the Bayern.
This is the season, but we're talking about this season, mate, and this season is a little bit different. Man City, finally the season. I mean, and I know we're on top right now. But,
Joel, all right, you're in good form. Stop trying to bring you into the conversation. Cool. It's a Liverpool video.
You'll have Chelsea, who, yes, they've had a few dodgy results and stuff like that, but overall, if you take all of Potter's performances, it's actually been pretty sound. If you look at Manchester United, whether I tell Rio would steal or not, they look like they're on the rise. And then you got Liverpool. Geez, you're struggling every week. So that's my question.
Mr. Beya.
Can he get him in the top 4 in the current circumstances?
Mr. Beya, this is the beauty of being the interviewer and allowing the interviewee to finish the sentence. So can he do those things? Of course he can. Yeah. Will he do those things? Will the players perform to the level that we expect the manager to perform to? No, probably not. Will we be able to get the consistency of the results playing 3 games a week with the squad depth that we have? Mr. Beya, I certainly don't think we do. So can the manager get top 4? Oh, you're damn right. The manager can do more than get top 4, my friends, as he's shown it in many, many different seasons. The question you should be asking is everyone else at that football club aligning with the said man question? I don't think they are.
Are they, Mr. Redmond? Are they aligning?
I don't think they are.
Okay.
I think they'll try. I just don't think they've got the capabilities no more, some of them.
Yeah. Well, you know what? For me, that's what I want to know. I want to see where you are, because every time Liverpool don't do well, we're in the group chat and stuff, like with Rio, with Steve. We're like, ooh, Redmond's fuming. He's fuming. I don't know why you're not in that group chat, lad. But that's what we want to know, really. And I'm glad that you've been able to come on and give us your insight, Mr. Redmond. I'm very happy that you're here giving us your opinion, etc. But the big game's coming up against Spurs on the weekend. Now, they beat Marseille 2-1. They're through. You saw Harry Kane doing Afro beats, etc. They were able to scrape a 3-2 win against Bournemouth last weekend. How do you reckon they're going to do against your boys coming up?
I believe any team with a couple of bad results behind them in previous games I think have always got extra agency. It's like if you haven't been in work for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, that's some wages that you need to catch up on. So do a little bit of overtime. And I feel like, there's a little bit of agency to work more. I think the same there with Tottenham. I've not been a big fan of Tottenham this season. I don't think they play great football. And I knew they were going to get top 4 last year. But I also know Conte, he's a very short-term manager. Get me top 4 and then you should probably look at elsewhere. That's the way I've saw Antonio Conte. More than happy for people to disagree. I just don't think his football is sustainable for results. Against us, an inconsistent team like us, to come up against an actual slightly better inconsistent team like them this season, I'm not sure where the game's going to go. And I don't think their win over Marseille has any implications on the game against us. And I don't think our win against Napoli has any implications on the game against them. I think it's very much the case of a team who wants it more on the day, who's more cohesive and who's more aligned with their manager. And that's the team that's going to win the game.
Do you dare to give me scorers for the weekend, James, or you're going to stay away from that?
Oh, you want specific scorers? Yeah. Oh, okay. I mean, I didn't know I was getting paid by the hour to be a fortune teller, but I would suggest the score. So you want to score please. And the scorers, yes. I would assume. So the score will be 2-1 to the mighty Reds, because why not be a little bit confident? You know what I mean? Give the fans some fuel in case we lose. And then the scorers will be Darwin Nunez and Mohamed Salah. Mohamed Salah's been finding a little bit of form. So them two with a combined 25 goal contributions between them in one of the worst seasons that they've probably both had. Don't mind if
Love you, James. Love you. Listen.
And to round up the video, to round up the video as well, to all the United fans who tune into this channel, mad respect because you show me respect. But through the times of taking the mick out of Liverpool and me, being brutally honest, possibly giving you ammo to really go at us even more, just realise that and recognise this as well. It's very important to know in situations like this, the worst form we've been in years, yet we are still European elite. We are still the best English side in Europe, and everyone now knows that. So that's the thing when it comes to the champion. I know you wouldn't know, Joe. You know what I mean? It's not for everyone, Champions League. You get what I'm saying?
Make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow James Redmond on his socials. It's in the description. And we'll catch up with James Redmond next week. And if he's not in good form, we're going to let him have it. Joe Beya, James Redmond, signing out. Peace.